Okay. So before I begin, can anyone quickly recall what was the last session about? What we discussed in the last session? Anyone of you? Anyone? It's taking a while, my screen. So just hang on. So quickly, can we recall the session? Everyone.
Chat application.
Chat application, right? We discuss about two.
Ma'am. Ma'am.
So I was telling you that we discussed yesterday about two-way chat application. So can you tell me what was the basic operation? The basic operations that we learn with the read and write. Yes or no? Am I audible, guys? Is my screen visible?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Okay, that's good. So when I say we are having the network, Java networking, or we are doing the programming, basically either user will ask for some information, or it will be just a request for an operation, such as I ask you people to go with the currency conversion. Any one of you have done it? Sorry, body mass index I ask, right? We have seen two programs yesterday, which was a simple chat to have the serial communication, and then we have gone through the currency conversion. Somebody is saying something? Someone is having any doubt? Your screen have error message. Is it like that? My screen is not visible, guys. Let me share it again.
No, ma'am.
How is it now?
Now fine,
Okay,
ma'am.
now. Fine.
Okay. I guess my Microsoft is doing the problem, that's why. So hang on, I have PDF also. We'll go with the PDF today. Okay, so any operations that is happening on the network will be the read and write operation. Fine. And this read and write operation will be either for the information retrieval, where we will send and receive the data packets using the data input stream and data output stream objects, right? Or we may have some operations, such as we want to do some calculation, or we want to go ahead with the certain like body mass calculation, body mass index calculation, or something like that. Okay, so so when we have such thing, we have to keep in mind that we are purely bother about. Is my screen visible, guys?
Yes, ma'am. It's clear.
Okay. Okay, so that was the discussion last time, and today we will move ahead and we will see what are the other things that we have. So before that, can anyone tell me what is the solution of body mass index program? Have you gone through it? How many of you have done it? How many of you have done it? Rahul, can you share your screen? I mean, I guess you will not have that. Can you see the share button? Everyone, with you, do you have the facility to share the content?
No, it's visible.
Okay, fine. Do one thing. I'll check your program in your lab. So just kindly remind me. We will see the exercise. Whatever exercises I'm giving in the class, I'll be checking in the lab. Okay. So good, Rahul, that you have done it. Today we are going to go ahead with the new discussion of the chapter, which is about connection-less scenario. So we are already aware that when we are going to go with networking, either we will have connection oriented or we will have connection less scenario. Fine. So when we want to go with the TCP, we will go with the connection oriented scenario, that is using socket and server socket classes. But at times you want to go with the connection less scenario. When you want to go with the connection less scenario, it is going to use the classes which are named as datagram socket and datagram packet. Fine. So today we are going to go with the discussion of these two programs, which two classes, which is datagram socket and datagram packet. So if I say datagram socket, usually it is same as your socket. Difference is your socket is for connection oriented, and when we want to go with the connection less, we will go with the datagram socket. Fine. Otherwise, it is also the end point of the communication in the application. So it's an application endpoint for communication, right? So each and every program which we want to create with the help of connection less scenario, now onwards we will create the sockets using datagram packet, datagram socket. Fine. Fine. Is it clear? Right? So a datagram is usually an information, but there is no guarantee that its content will arrive, or what is its content when it will arrive, what will be the total arrival time taken, because we are going to go with the connection less scenario, right? So we called it as a datagram socket, endpoint of a communication, and it can be implemented using three different ways. So these are the commonly used constructors of datagram socket class. So what is constructor? Are you aware? What is constructor? In the object-oriented scenario, what is constructor?
It's a method, ma'am.
It's a method. What is the difference between a constructor and a method?
Constructor have same name as the class name, but
Yeah.
method cannot have.
Exactly. That is the one difference. What about more differences? When I say constructor and when I say method, there are few differences. Both are even methods, right? So that's why parenthesis.
Constructor doesn't have a return type.
Yeah, constructor will not have return type. First, it is having same name as class name. Okay. Here it is not the case, right? It will have different name. No, not the same name. When it will be invoked? Here
When object is created.
Exactly. So constructors are called automatically when objects are created. And when method will be invoked? How we will invoke the methods? We need to use the object dot method name. So we need to invoke the method. It will not be called automatically. Fine. Constructor will have no return type. So nothing will be returned. It is just having the purpose to assign the values to the data members or to create an instance, right? So no return value, whereas method may have return value. May have, not always necessary. Some methods will not have return And the one which is not having return, we know that these are the method having the return type void, right? Right? So what I'm saying is, I'm saying that with the connectionless scenario, these are the commonly used constructor. The first one is datagram socket. All of this are going to throw socket exception in case if something wrong happen and we are not able to create the socket. Fine. Now, the first variant of this constructor is a constructor with no argument. So the entire signature is datagram socket throws socket exception. So this will create a datagram socket and it binds with the available port. So you are not specifying on which port. It will be binded to the available port of the local machine. Fine. Whereas the second variant is taking the integer port as an argument. So you are giving a port number. So when you are using the second variant of datagram socket constructor with the integer port argument and throwing the socket exception, it will create a datagram socket on the specified port number, whatever port number you are giving as an argument. Fine. Next one is we can go with the datagram socket, which is taking the two arguments. First one is the port number and the second one is inet address class object. What is inet address? What is inet address? We have gone through
IP
the
address.
Sorry.
IP address.
Exactly, it's an IP address. We have gone through the discussion. So inet address is an network API class which represents the IP address. Fine. So you can create a datagram socket by specifying port number and the inet address also. Fine. So these are the three ways. Now, anybody having any question or doubt? Anyone? Sunny, it's not a method, it's a class. Okay. Will not say that inet address is a method, because usually you see when I say something is method means function in C as well in Java we call it as a method. So if you look at, you are writing println, and you are doing this. So usually methods will have the parenthesis, fine, and it will do some task, right? And when I say class, obviously class is something which is having data members and the member functions. Fine. So inet address is a class. So inet address is having the property, data property and the methods attached with it. So clear that doubt. We don't call inet address as a method, but we say inet address is a class. So it is giving us the facility to create an object which will hold both host name and the IP address. Okay, as he said, he's clear, we are going ahead. So the next one which we want is the datagram packet. Now, datagram packet. So what is data packet? Anyone? What is data packet? In network, when you say packet received, what do you mean by that? Any one of you?
Frames of data.
Frames of data. But now we know that we are working over the network, two different machines, and we say the sending and receiving of the data is happening in the terms of streams, right? Input stream and output stream. And input stream and output stream is basically sequence of bytes. Yes or no? Agree?
Yes, ma'am.
Fine. These are the sequence of bytes. Okay. So when I say a message is being passed, usually we say we are sending the data packets, right? So now programmatically we are very well clear that when I want to send data, basically I am using the streams. Input stream, output stream, data input stream, data output stream, right? And we know the meaning of stream. We know that stream is sequence of bytes, right? Stream is sequence of bytes. So to go with the connectionless scenario, there is a class which is known as datagram packet class. Can you see the name datagram packet? Usually datagram packet is a message. Basically, when you say you're communicating over the network using two different devices, and we are learning the Java, so we'll have two different Java programs, .java file, executing on two different machines. What they need to do is, they need to send and receive the messages. And this sending and retrieval of the message will be done with the help of datagram packet. So basically, datagram packet is a message, right? So you can send multiple packets, right? And it may arrive in any order because we don't have any handshaking. We know that acknowledgement signal will not be given. And that's why when data is large, this difference we have already learned in TCP and UDP. Fine? Fine? So what we say is, we have to use a datagram socket and datagram packet where the recipient of message we are not bothered about. We don't want that guarantee that it will go in a particular sequence and it will be received for definitely it is going to be received, right? So when such is the scenario, we are going to use datagram packet and datagram socket. So these are the two constructors which are available with datagram packet. Look at the signature. These are the constructors, so it will have no argument, right? Sorry, it will have no return. So we have datagram packet. First variant is taking two arguments. First one is byte array. Byte array. So this array is going to hold your data. Fine. It is going to hold the data packets. Can you see this? Data packet. We say we will send it with the stream. And what is stream? Stream is sequence of bytes. And we know that in Java, when we learn the basic data types, can you list out basic data types of Java programming? What are the basic data types? Integer, character, float, string, then
Double.
Then
Boolean.
have you heard about byte?
Three. Yes,
learn-
ma'am. Byte also.
It is a data type. Okay. And that's why here the first argument being taken by your datagram packet is array of. This is an array, BRR. But what is the type of what type of data it will hold? It will hold the bytes, right? It will hold the bytes. And as there are more in number, we have taken the array. Now, when I say I have an array, obviously I need to mention the length also. Up till what length I have to read the data packet, right? So it is creating, when I use this constructor, it will create a datagram socket with the specified length and a byte array to hold that data. Fine, this is the first variant. The next one is taking four argument. When the first two arguments are the byte array and its length, and the third one is INET address object and the integer port, right? So this is creating a datagram which is being sent to a particular server, right? So it is using the INET address object and port number to be specific that to which IP address we need to send it. Fine? Is it clear? Everyone? Yes or no? Okay. So let us go with one example. I'll show you how it works. So this is the first program, datagram. We do have two programs. I called it as a datagram receiver and a datagram sender. So first we will go with the sender program. As we know that sender is someone who is sending the message, right? So can you see this? We've taken three classes: datagram packet, java.net.datagram packet. Then we have imported java.net.datagram socket and java.net.inet address. We have taken a public class data sender having a main method, and as we say, that there are methods which can throw the exception. So our main method we are writing throws exception. Throws exception. Fine. Now, as I said, your datagram socket is same like an your socket, but what you need to do is you need to create your datagram socket to have the communication. Fine. So here we are using the first variant. We are using the first variant. Okay. Now what we are doing is this is like we are creating a datagram socket, endpoint of communication. So this is the endpoint from where we will do the communication. So this is for communication. Okay. Now we're sending a message. So we have to take some message, taken string str, I am from sender. Now, taken an IP address. For that, we need to use inet address class. So created an object IA, inet address dot get by name. And this is taking an IP address of send to where we want to send. So this is destination IP address. Okay. Now, we have endpoint for the communication. We have message to send. We are clear where we want to send. So now what we need to do is we need to get the data packet ready, right? We have socket. Now we'll make a data packet. So we are having data packet created an object DP is equal to new data packet. And as I said that the last variant taking the 4 argument. So what you are doing is string our variable str.getBytes. So string is our local variable having the message. So I said string.getBytes, right? And I have taken the length because I need to specify that receiver has to read up till what length. So that's why we are saying string.length. Okay. Now we are specifying the destination IP, which is 127.0.0.1. So over here, destination is the local host, and we know that local host means within the same system. I'm talking about the same laptop, right? But if you're having some other IP address and you are connected to network, you can send it over there also. And the last argument which we are specifying is the port number. Now, object DP is ready with the bytes to be sent, length of the byte, destination IP address and the communication. So this packet is right now ready in our system after execution of this line. Once it is ready, we can use the endpoint for the communication. So endpoint is represented in the data socket. Yes, Dhanraj, any question? So endpoint is represented using DS. Fine. So what we will do is we'll say DS dot using this data socket, datagram socket that is using this endpoint. We are sending the packet. So there is a method which is called send. What you want to send? You want to send these bytes up till this line to this IP address and to this port, which is there in the object DP. So we say the DS dot send argument datagram object DP. And as always, we need to close the socket. Is it clear? Is it clear? Are you people clear with the
Ma'am,
Yes.
Ma'am, can you explain it once again?
Okay.
The whole program. Thank you.
Sorry.
Can you explain the whole program once again, ma'am?
Yeah, sure. So I'll explain it quickly. Whenever we want to go with the Java networking and we want to implement connection-less scenario, we can go with datagram socket and datagram packet. We need sender and receiver program. So this is our sender program. So we created a public class sender. We know that execution start from the main method. So we have taken public static void main. All the Java networking program communicates through the socket, and when it is connection-less scenario, we need to take a datagram socket object. So we have created a datagram socket object. Datagram DS is equal to new datagram socket. This is the endpoint of the communication. Your program will communicate using this object to the network. Okay. To send a message, we require a string. Right? So we have taken, yes.
why is it in the main method? Why is the necessity of using exception, throws exception?
See, we know that get by name method throws the exception. Have you gone through that discussion in the lab? Host
Yeah.
not found, right? When we were discussing, we said that unknown host exception, right? So if you have not handled the exception, it may be the case, and even sometime it may be the case that you will be failing creating the packet to the client. Some code is getting failed because of some runtime error. Runtime error could be your system is not having the network connection. If your system is not having the network connection and you are trying to communicate to some external IP, in that case, this execution will fail, right? So this is why we are giving the throws exception. Fine?
Yeah, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay. So I was telling like datagram socket is the endpoint of communication. Yes.
In the throws exception, which one will handle the exception which is thrown by the void main?
Can you repeat? I'm not getting your question.
Yeah, in the throws, there is a throws exception in the void main, right?
Void main.
Yeah, the throws exception, which one will handle it, the exception?
We have not handled any exception here because we know that when we are handling the exception, we are putting the try catch block, right? So
Yes,
when I'm
ma'am.
saying throws the exception, obviously this is we are throwing to the runtime environment. We have not written any block which will handle this exception. So in that case, if
Okay.
main method is throwing the exception, then the Java runtime will look at that.
But
Okay.
ma'am, what if we don't specify that throws exception? Doesn't it automatically throw the exception? I mean, if we are not catching it or handling it, what is the necessity?
Yeah, exactly. If you want to specify, or we are saying that I want to go with the exception handling. In that case, the line which you feel like may have exception. We know that this line may have the exception, and this line also may have the exception. Because if IP address is not found, this data packet object will not be created. So what you can do is, or at times, this is like we are creating for the available socket, right? So if in that case, something is getting fixed, what you can do is, you can put up till this in a try block, okay? In a try block. And then you can write catch. In that case,
Okay,
if you're
ma'am. Thank you.
removing this, it's fine. You can remove this. Getting?
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
So I was telling that this is the message which we want to send. Now, to send the message, we use datagram packet. In datagram packet, we have to specify the message in the bytes. So this is string. That's why we have returned string.getBytes. Okay. The second argument is length of the message. Message is in the string variable str. So we said str.length. The third argument, which is accepted by datagram constructor, is the inet address object. That's why we created inet address object in the previous line, and we use it in the construction in the creation of DP object. Fine. And the third thing which we are specifying is the server's port number, on which port we will send the packet. Once your data packet is ready, the program's endpoint of communication is the object DS. So using DS object, you have to send this data packet, and that's why you are writing ds.senddp. Is it clear? And finally, we are closing the socket for the security purpose. Even if you are making it open or you are not writing this line, that's fine. But it is always a better practice from the security point of view to close all the sockets. I have one question from Mohammad Hasnat. He's saying, ma'am, the IA we are representing in datagram, we are passing the whole object of inet address, right? Yeah, of course. Yes, Hasnat, we are doing that. We are passing the whole object. This is third argument is the inet object, inet address object. And when I say inet address object, it is holding both host name and the IP address. Fine. Okay, Mohammed, you are right. It is the object, and as it is the object, it is holding both host name and the IP address. Should I move forward to the receiver program? This is sender. Now we have to look at the receiver. Okay, everyone. Should I move forward?
Yes,
ma'am.
Okay.
Ma'am,
Okay.
ma'am,
Yes, go ahead.
when creating the object, well, why was the class name not stated?
Where?
Yeah, when you created datagram socket as an object.
Here.
Yeah.
Okay. So as we have discussed that to create a datagram socket, we can go with the any of the variant. There are many variant. So what I want to do is I want to show you all the variants if possible, right? So you see that there is a first variant where we can use a datagram socket creation with default argument. And when we are creating with the default argument, it will create the socket on the available port. Fine. That's why I have not specified. But if I want to specify, I can specify it. Okay. Fine.
TK, ma'am.
Okay. That sounds good. Like you are speaking good Hindi. Okay, fine. And let us go ahead with the receiver. Now, dsender.java program has sent a packet to the local host, which is the same machine represented by the IP address 127.0.0.1. Now, at the receiver side, we want to receive it. So we need to create socket. Obviously, socket need to be created both the end. So we are creating the socket and we are reading the datagram packet, whatever is coming, right? So what we have to do is we have taken a public class the receiver having the main method throws the exception. We created datagram socket DS. Now look at here. Here I'm using the second variant of datagram socket, which is the port number. Why I want to do this? Because my sender has sent the packet on the port number 3000. Can you see this? It has sent on the port number 3000. And that's why at the receiver side, I should have the communication endpoint established on the port number 3000. So this is the second variant. This is the second variant of datagram socket constructor. Now, I am creating an byte array and I'm giving it a name as buff. Somehow we consider this as a buffer, which is accepting the network packets. Do you know that when something comes on a particular port, right, entire stream will not come in a one go. For example, if I am using YouTube, fine. If I am using YouTube and I'm going to play some video, if I'm going to play some video, you see, YouTube is taking a time little bit, right? It is like loading some of the things, right? And when I click on, we will see certain things like some processing will happen. What is happening for this tab? When I opened youtube.com, right, at that time packets had started coming. And can you see this?
One of the things that keeps me focused.
Can you see this? This gray line is progressing. Can you see that it's being darker, right? Why is it so? Why is it so? Because when I am connected to a program, when I'm opening any tab, basically I am listening on a port and that port will start receiving the datagram packets, right? And when it is started receiving data, simply means that we are having the bytes, because we know that it is streaming. We call video streaming. Stream is sequence of byte. So when something is streaming on your machine, you need a certain memory area. You need certain memory area to store that data. Usually we call it as a buffer. So this is byte array. I have created new byte. This is, we know that, right? Concept of wrapper class. What is wrapper class? What is wrapper class?
Wrapper class is wrapping something. I don't
Don't say this. I'm always against in such answer like, what is computer? Computer is
Ma'am, that can
computer.
convert primitive into objects.
Sorry,
Primitive
can you
data,
repeat?
primitive data
Yes.
types that converts primitive data types into object.
Very good. That's what it is. It is converting the primitive data type into the class, right? So we know that byte is a data type. The way you have integer, character, float, double, you have byte also, right? And I'm creating byte array, but Java is pure object-oriented language, and that's why primitive data types can also be treated as a class, right? So to have this, we are creating an object of byte class. So this is an object, but I did a square bracket. So it means that this is array of objects. So many bytes I'm talking about. So many bytes I'm talking about. Now, what I'm doing is, when I'm creating an array, obviously I need to give size. So I said byte array, I have said byte array square bracket buff is equal to 1024, right? Right? 1024. What does it mean? 1024. Matlab, what is the size in kilobyte?
1.
Yeah, 1 kilobyte, right? Almost like it is near to 1.024 KB, right? 1
Use
KB.
ma'am.
Yes, yes.
Byte wrapper class byte should be capital, otherwise it will be data type. No?
Yeah, you are right. Thank you for pointing out that. B should be capital, otherwise it will be. This is like a single dimensional array declaration. So this is a primitive data type only. Yeah, thank you for pointing out that. I just missed that concept. So this is primitive data type, right? And we are creating an array of elements. But these elements which are there in the array are of byte type, right? And the size of bytes which you have allocated is 1.024 kilobyte. Because when I say 1024 bytes, and if I convert it into the KB, it will be 1.024 kilobytes, right? Obviously, the concept is totally right. When we have wrapper classes, it becomes the capital. We do like this, integer, I is equal to new integer, right? This is the, I pardon for my mistake, okay? This way we create. Okay, so this is in small, so that's why this is primitive data type.
Excuse me, ma'am. Yes, please.
Yes.
I think that I'm confused some things. What a difference, because this code look the same as a server socket. When we are creating to use the data protocol server socket, and when we are creating data socket, the code look the same. That's why I want to know the difference between use the datagram protocol socket and use the datagram protocol server socket, because the code look the same. Are you getting what I mean?
Let me repeat. I guess you are asking what is the difference when I'm using datagram socket and
Yeah,
datagram fetch.
Yes, server socket, yes.
Okay, now understand. We have gone through a nice diagram where we have said that this is my machine, okay? And this machine is going to have the communication through some endpoint. As I explained that in network applications, communication happens on the socket address, and socket address is equal to IP address plus port number. So IP plus port together makes a socket address. So when you run any application, let us say this is a web browser and this is an application, right? Mozilla Firefox is an application. Now I have opened this email, I have opened this meeting, I have, let us suppose I'm searching for byte data type or something on the Google. So this is something in the third tab. So each and every tab, I'm receiving certain data, right? I'm receiving certain data. Now, to communicate this, when I click on the first link, I'm communicating through this step to the network, to some server, Google server, I'm communicating. When I am here in Cisco and I'm just clicking somewhere, or I share the screen, or I start recording and all those things, at that time, I am communicating to Cisco WebEx server. Fine. So each and every application needs some endpoint, and that endpoint is known as datagram socket, right? That endpoint is known as datagram socket. Once you have created the socket, you can receive the data through the input stream, and you can send the data out using the output stream. Fine. So socket is a endpoint, last point in your application through which you will communicate. So for each and every activity, or for each and every system, there are dedicated endpoints, like port number provided for the applications. For example, your email always comes on the port number 21. For example, MySQL server, the default port is 3306. Request is coming for MySQL server will be listened on the port number 3306. HTTP is having the default port 80. Right? So this way, when we are having some endpoint, we need to send and receive the data. So to send and receiving the data in networks term, we call it as a packet. Right? So when you are writing a Java application, at that time, you required some endpoint for the communication, and over this point, we'll have the data. We will have the datagram packets. So datagram packets dealing with the data, and socket is dealing with the point from where we will start sending and receiving the datagram packet. Is it clear?
So, ma'am,
That means,
Yes.
that means that there is no difference between UDP socket and UDP server socket.
No, there is no difference. There's no difference.
Okay, I got it. Thanks so much. I really appreciate it.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay, so I'm moving ahead. Guys, what we did is datagram socket is created on the port number 3000, because sender is sending on 3000. So we need to read it from the port number 3000. Taken an primitive data type byte array, and we give a new byte. So our array size is 1.024 KB. Now, we are creating a datagram packet DP, and this packet we are reading from the buffer, right? So buffer is an array. So datagram packet constructor having two variants, like buffer, the array and the array length, right? Can you recall that we said that we'll have the datagram packet with the byte length and integer length. Now, why we want to go with this? You see, in sender we have gone through this because we need to specify the destination IP address and port number. Now in the receiver side, we are going with this because in sender we had created a datagram socket which was empty, and we specify the destination in datagram packet. Now at the receiver side, what we did, we use the datagram socket with the port number. As the port number is specified, now we can go with the first variant to receive the datagram packet. So we're specifying the array, byte array, and the length. So our byte array is in the variable buff. You see, this is our byte array. So we said buff and we specified the length. Okay. Now on this data socket with the buffer size 1024, we are receiving the data packet. So we said ds dot receive dp, right? So all the data packets which are coming, we have received in that. Now we are creating a string variable string received, right? We said new string. Now over here string is, what is it? Data type or a wrapper class? Wrapper class object or a data type? What is string received?
Wrapper class.
Exactly, right? It is a wrapper class. So what we are doing over here is, we say the string receive equal to new string, right? And we are reading. From where we are reading? We are reading from the data packet. So we say data packet dot get length. Data packet dot get, the data packet object dot get data. So it will retrieve all the data, right? And when all the data is retrieved, we are going to save it inside the string receive. And we are starting from 0 byte till dp dot get length, the data packet's length. Okay, up till that it will read. Okay, I'm repeating again. String is a wrapper class. We created str receive object equal to new string. Now your string receive is reading the data packet. So we say the data packet object dp dot get data. We are starting reading from the first or the 0th byte because it is coming as a string, and we know that string's first element is index is 0. So we are starting from 0 till dp dot get length, data packet length. Okay, and we are printing it. So we said system.out.println string received. Is it clear? Is it clear? Fine.
Yes, ma'am.
Rahil, 3000 is the port number. Each and every application needs the port number. And when you are communicating or making a program, usually the sender and receiver port number should be same. As I said you, in this machine, there are so many tabs are open. So if I'm communicating with Google or I'm communicating over the email, or I'm communicating to Cisco, I need a dedicated port number because IP address is same for all these three. Client's IP is same for all these three servers. Okay, Rahil? And that's why we need a dedicated port number.
Yes, ma'am, I got it.
No, receive is not a class, you can see. Receive is a method. Guys, don't be confused. When you ask this question, I doubt whether you have learned your Java properly or not. Because you see, what is the code line? What is the code line? This is the code line. ds.receive. How the things are working in object-oriented programming? How do we work? How do we call a method? Just before a few minutes I said, we call a method with the object name. So we'll have object name dot method name, right? And in argument, we'll give some argument, right? And when we are giving such argument, this argument can be any primitive or non-primitive data type. And we know that object is non-primitive data type. So when I'm saying receive, right? Receive is a method. And when I'm saying DS, we know that DS is the object name, socket, datagram socket. And when I'm saying DP, DP is argument, which is datagram packet object. So we are giving object as an argument to the method. See, now understand one thing, guys. Class is usually the thing which is having both data and it will be having the methods, right? As well, we can have certain methods having the same name as class name, right? This is called constructor. Now, constructor will be used to create an object. So I can write data gram socket ds is equal to new datagram socket. And constructor can take argument or not take, depends, right? Once it is created, I can access the method of that class. So when I'm saying ds.receive, it means that receive is a method of a datagram socket class. Is it clear, Mahek? Is it clear? Okay. So finally, we said BS dot receive, and we have printed the received thing, the received arguments. Yes.
So for the string receive,
Sorry.
could you please open the slide?
Which one? The sender or receiver?
Receiver. The second to the last line, mom. String string receive is equal to new string dp.get data.
Hmm.
So it's reading whatever argument has been passed in datagram packet, right?
Yes. We are
And whatever is
object.
so whatever we are printing is whatever has been stored, whatever argument has been passed in datagram packet.
Sorry, I'm not getting your question.
I'm saying string receive is equal to new string dp. It's reading whatever argument has been passed in datagram packet, right?
Not argument, entire object it is reading.
Entire object, okay, which is datagram packet.
Yeah. So
whenever we
datagram
print-
class, datagram packet class is having one method which is known as get data.
Get
This
data,
is one
yes,
method of datagram packet. Another method of datagram packet is get length to
Yes,
get the
okay.
length of datagram packet. So we are
Got it.
using these things to read the string which are there, to read the bytes which are there in the datagram packet.
Okay, so when we print system.println to print, it's actually going to be retrieving information which is in the buffer location, which is stored in the array, right?
Yeah.
All right, got it. Thank you.
Yes. Okay, so now I hope everybody has cleared their part and nobody is having the doubt. And if you have doubt, please feel free to ask your queries. I'm executing the program and I'll show you how it will go on. So we need two strings, right? And I can run java.d receiver, right? First receiver I need to get open. And now sender will send. So we say java d sender, right? And when I press enter, can you see this? I am from sender. Fine? Fine? First, you need to run the receiver program and then you will run the sender program because a port need to be open. When sender is sending something on the port, port should be available. So that's it for today. We discussed today about datagram socket and datagram packet. We learned what are the constructors and how and when which type of a constructor we should use. Along with that, we tried to understood what is datagram packet and we have tried to get the message using the datagram packet. Now, one exercise for you, and next time when you are coming to the class or lab, try to do this. The exercise is you have to create two programs, a sender and receiver, right? And the sender will send a string. The string should be having the combination of digits and characters, and receiver has to count digit and characters at their end. Are you getting the problem? Sender will send the string, right? And that string will be the combination of characters and digits. And receiver side, when string is received, receiver has to count number of digits and characters available in the data packet. Fine. So this is your exercise. If you don't have any queries right now, you all can leave the meeting. Note down the problem. Next time in the lab, you have to show me.
Ma'am,
Yes.
which book you are preferring for Java?
I'm using online resources for learning. And still, if you want to refer a book, there's a book which is named as E. Balagurusamy Java is also good. As well, J2EE complete reference book is also good. But complete reference you'll find a little heavy because number of pages are more.
Written by Hivershfield, right?
Yeah.
The one which written by Hivershield.
Yes, that one. That
Yeah, yeah.
Herbal Shield.
And when you will upload your video?
Being frank, not Herbal Shield, I'm talking about Jim Coek.
Okay, I thought there was another one, the complete difference by Hivershield, the previous.
Tata and Sigru Hill, and the author is Jim Coek, Jimkeogh.
Okay. If you have the soft
Or
copy, just upload it in the content. If you have.
I suggest please go with the online resources, because when you will search something online, now you will find new information. So I prefer more online resource to learn rather than a book, because nowadays
Okay.
so many information like details are available online. So try to get it from
And
the internet. For that,
ma'am,
two
when you
websites.
will upload your classes videos?
Mostly today. Mostly today.
Every time you are saying mostly today, mostly today.
The thing is, I have lots of workload and the channel was not ready. Channel got ready on Saturday, right? And yesterday I
ma'am.
had 5 hours of load.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Thank you.
Ma'am,
Yes.
which of the online platforms can you refer?
www.javateapoint.com. As well, W3 Schools is also having good content, but for Java networking, I suggest go with the tutorialspoint.com and Java T-Point.
All right, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah.
Ma'am,
Yes. Everyone, please leave the meeting.